Anyway, thank you for joining today's session. The topic is going to be harnessing the power of social media to drive marketplace growth. My name is Kentaro. I'm in charge of business development at DataHawk. Previous to this, I was in the social media ad space, so today's topic is really exciting to me. Today, we have some expert views from Michel Drouot from Channel Engine, Marcel Marculescu from IntelliRank, and Richard Ball from Reviews.io as guest speakers. They'll be talking about the latest trends we are seeing in social media. We will also have some practical tips on what sellers can do both pre-purchase and post-purchase on social media to boost your sales, both in the short term and long terms. So without further ado, quick introductions of yourselves for the audience, please. I'm going to start off with Mitchell.
Thank you very much, Kentaro, and welcome everybody to today's panel session. Excited to be here and share a thing or two. So I'm a partner manager of marketplaces over here at Channel Engine. We're a marketplace integrator from the Netherlands. And with our e-commerce and marketplace management suite, you can connect as a brand or as a retailer, you can connect your products to marketplaces worldwide. So it's a one-stop solution that makes it easy to list your products, retrieve orders. We've got lots of tools in our software that make it quite easy to outcompete the competition on marketplaces like Amazon, Walmart, Mercado Libre. Yeah, I think that's my summary of Channel Engine, and happy to share more about some social commerce channels today as well.
Thanks, Mitchell. How about Marcel? Please go ahead.
Thank you, Kentaro. Thank you for having me. So my name is Marcel Marculescu. I am an Amazon seller, an entrepreneur, and I'm also the CEO and co-founder of IntelliRank. We help Amazon and Walmart sellers alike to reach the top of page one on any keyword on the Amazon and Walmart marketplaces. We've successfully launched and ranked over 1,000 products consistently over the last 4 years. But today I'll be presenting one of our services. It's called the Micro-Influencers Program, and how to use micro-influencers in your e-commerce business. This strategy is the kind of strategy you can apply to any e-commerce business. So once you get in contact with the micro-influencer, you ask them to purchase either from Walmart, from Amazon, from your Shopify store, from Etsy, whatever you like, and take over the experience. Looking forward to share more about it. Yeah.
Thanks, Marcel. And lastly, but not the least, Richard.
Thank you, Kentaro.
Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Richard Ball. I'm the brand marketing manager here at Reviews.io. We're primarily a post-purchase service that enables brands to collect feedback from their most trusted source, which is their customers. Your customers can sell your products better than you by leveraging your customer's voice through review content. It instills trust with potential buyers. We're able to collect more than just feedback, but also user-generated content, which we'll share with you today. One of our key selling points for Reviews.io against some of the biggest top 5 players is, managing that reputation across multiple platforms, which I can share with you in more detail.
Thanks a lot, Rich. So yeah, I think, social media, me being in that space for the last 2 years or so, I was actually seeing a lot of changes, especially, with iOS 14.5 being introduced, and then cookies being a little bit of a hurdle to track people, increase the privacy concerns, of course. And so the social media landscape is changing rapidly right now. So that might have some impact on the function of social media. And I think I'd like to, ask Mitchell, because Mitchell, your company helps companies approach the right marketplaces, so your finger is always on the pulse to identify new marketing channels, I guess. Can you tell us a little bit about the evolution of social media and how we should look at it today, some new trends and features we are seeing in social media?
Absolutely, Kentaro. Yeah, I think it's a important topic to touch on. So, of course, one way to approach social media linked to marketplaces is from an advertising perspective. A nice poignant example is using collaborative ads on Facebook, where you can, of course, retarget visitors that visit a certain marketplace through Facebook ads to get them back to your product page or your shop in shop, and try to push them towards conversion. There are a number of marketplaces that support this. A big one in Southeast Asia is Lazada, for example. But I think you make a really good point here that, of course, with more and more restrictions on use of cookies, it's becoming a bit more challenging. So then I think it's important to look into the social media channel, maybe not from a traffic generating source, but really actually as the transactional platform. And this is something we've seen evolve over the last years with social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and now also Pinterest, for example, becoming these transactional platforms. So instead of generating content, building your brand, and getting traffic to your different points of sale, among others marketplaces, you can actually check out right when you're on a Facebook page or you're on shopping on Pinterest for maybe some inspiration. So it becomes more and more important to address your social media channels as sales channels. And I think one of the most exciting recent developments is, of course, something that's been going on in China for a long time already with WeChat and other platforms, is how TikTok is now really coming up strongly. So both, whereas Facebook and Instagram, of course, offering this transactional experience in the US, if you look at Europe and the UK and also in Southeast Asia, TikTok Shop is launched, and you actually can buy products directly on TikTok. You do not need to drive the traffic to your web shop or to another marketplace as a brand or retailer to get those sales. And I think TikTok's example is more robust than the other social media channels so far, where you can do a product showcase. So as a brand, you can have an overview of your products, and the consumer, the user, can just buy from the showcase, but also place products in feed videos. So you create static videos, and you can do the product placement there and purchase right there from the video. And then the last one, of course, this is where I think the analogy with what's been going on in China for years comes up, is the live shopping option. So really working with influencers that are doing these live streams, and you can work with influencers that, of course, resonate well with your brand, and you can place your products right there in the shopping feed. So we're seeing this today in the UK, we're seeing it in Southeast Asia, and I think it's really a matter of time before we see it in the US as well. Exciting developments.
Yeah, thanks for that. Super interesting. I know you were in Singapore for a while, developing that market in Singapore and Australia. So it's really interesting developments that you are just mentioned. So how about Amazon? How would you relate that to Amazon? Is there anything that you can bridge that to what's going on in Amazon right now?
Yeah, absolutely. In a way. So if we're talking about live streaming, if we're talking about this functionality that TikTok has, we are seeing Amazon roll out these live streams as well, in the US, in Europe as well. But it's really early stages. We're monitoring it closely to see if it's going to have the same effect that you would, we're going to see if the adoption from consumers is really going to be so much that it's really going to drive sales and it's worth the investment. But yeah, also on platforms like Amazon, we are seeing these type of functionalities being rolled out. Yeah, time will tell how big the impact is going to be.
So it used to be something along the lines of you have a social media page, which then drives you to a landing page, and from there it's going to be going to the actual shopping page, but that is going to be shortcut, and I think it's going to be a more direct experience for the consumers.
Yeah, of course, we've seen it develop over the last decades, right? Where you used to have the traditional, OEM, distributor, agent, retailer. so many steps in the chain, and now like it's basically directly from OEM or manufacturer straight onto a Facebook or a TikTok straight to the consumer. So it's getting shorter, and so that does of course also require from brands and retailers to either work with the right partners, so agencies that can help with the services needed, or also build the in-house teams that are required to set up the infrastructure.
Right. It's really interesting trends that you just mentioned there. I think you gave us a really good view of what's going on in the market right now, and then I'd like to move on to some more practical stuff that the sellers can deploy. Speaking with Marcel and Rich. Marcel, one of the things you do is brand building through your micro-influencer program that you just mentioned, and Rich, as your company name suggests, is more focusing on post-purchase strategies. I want to ask you some questions about how both of your specialties, and perhaps you can give us some practical tips that sellers can deploy. So Marcel, starting with you, can you tell me how you came up with this micro-influencer program, and how should companies use social media, and how can they find the right micro-influencer for their brand? Also, how would you connect that with selling more on channels like Amazon or Walmart?
Those are very good questions. So to start from the beginning, everything started in 2017 when I started my own Amazon journey. So I've started selling on the Amazon marketplace, but the first product was a failed one, and I lost a lot of money there. But wanted to continue to get up, dust myself off, and just keep on doing the job on the Amazon marketplace, because I saw the potential. I still see it. It's immense. What I did next, went in debt, went to a bank, got some money, and get back with a new product in stock. Actually, there were two products in the same niche. What I didn't estimate at that time was the fact that I would end up with no money. So at that point, I was left with inventory alone and no money for PPC. So the thing that I came up with, along with my business partner back then, was to go on social media. So this is how we ended up on the Instagram platform, looking for people that were actually interested to use the products that I just sourced. Now, this came, let's say, out of a crisis situation, but turned out to be a very good way to resurrect and actually get the products rolling. It was the organic way of doing things. So this is a lot of work from your side, so to speak, because you need to do some steps on the social media, first of all. And this is something that every brand should have, like a presence on social media based on when you want to, what you're looking to target, based on your actual, let's say, audience. But from our experience, Instagram was the easiest one, because communication is easy. It's easy to reach out to people. Of course, TikTok is out there. If you're into, Pinterest, if you're looking for your target audiences, let's say women over 35 or something, Pinterest is a good source for some influencers. And why micro-influencers? And micro-influencers are people with an audience from, let's say, 1,000 to 100,000 followers, give or take. Now, the whole idea behind it is to target authenticity. We've been looking into doing reverse engineering, like on the Amazon marketplace. So on the Amazon, you start from what? You start from your keywords. You find the keywords, the relevant keywords, you build a listing, and then, start reaching out and trying to get on top on those keywords. On social media, on Instagram, for example, you start from hashtags. You look on the hashtags, you see what people are posting about, and you try to screen through those postings. You reach out to people that have a passion around your brand. So everything is related to the passion, related to actually finding people that actually use your product. So what we did then, we reached out to them, of course, we contacted them, and we offered them with a free product. And in return, we asked them to post, to tag us in the process, and later on to do all sorts of helpful things, maybe hold a giveaway on our behalf or a contest. And this is how slowly you can expand the reach, get people to know about your brand. It's, of course, it's a process that takes time. It's not like over, let's say, a short period of time, you're going to see a huge blast. But looking at the big picture, if you have a good, let's say, vision, mission, and the right objectives with every brand, you should have them. You should follow them, find the right micro-influencers, build an army of voices, an army of, later on, you can, let's say, leverage this, the army of brand ambassadors. You'll promote them to brand ambassadors because they will be promoting your product. So whenever you'll be launching a new product, guess what? You already have a database of people to reach out to. They'll be more than happy to endorse you, to talk about your product, to promote them in front of your their audience. And yeah, overall, this is quite a simple strategy to follow. And I'm amazed that not a lot of people are actually grabbing these low-hanging fruits. It's really something to consider. And yeah, it's a way forward. Hope that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, this brand building is very, very important in the long term, I think.
Yeah. And also being, you know, looking at, for example, if you are to find a micro-influencer person, it's always important to look deep into what they're doing, to see what they're posting about, to see how their language is. Maybe they're using a good language that refers, you know, rightfully to the right niche. You need to look at the comments, their followers. So you do a little bit of research prior to engaging with them. But out of a good influencer, good micro-influencer, you can harvest a lot of good information. Ourselves, like I said, I'm also an Amazon seller. We are always going first with finding the micro-influencers and getting a lot of content for them. So we're building the listings based on authenticity, based on photos and videos that we receive from these people. Of course, this is a very important topic. Always ask for permission to use that content prior to actually using it. And you can use it everywhere, in your listing, in your YouTubes, in your videos, whatever you want. So yeah, hope it makes sense.
Yeah, and you know, we're looking at long term, but how long are we looking at if we're looking at brand building as a minimum, just as a ballpark figure? What would you suggest or recommend your clients? I know it's a case-by-case situation.
It definitely, yeah, it's very important based on the brand, based on how much effort you put into it. But in the end, this is a continuous effort. It's like, it's not a one-time thing. You have to do it consistently over the years, and you harvest everything by every year that will pass. You'll see more and more engagement, more and more people talking about you, more and more people purchasing your products, because in the end, it's all about the branding and the people that, you know, actually hear about you. It's the psychological factor actually that we're targeting here. So in Maslow's pyramid, the thing we're targeting is the need of belonging to a group. So this is reference groups in difference to friends, family, you know, this type of groups that actually talk about the product, and you psychologically inclined to also purchase it based on other people that you trust. And
yeah, being a part of a tribe, I would even say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a saying that I like. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So yeah.
Yeah. And this will be, you know, not just pre-sale, but it's going to be, as you say, a continuous effort post-sale, I guess, which probably, you know, Rich is more focused on the post-sale part. So I'd like to hear a little bit about that as well. And you guys can maybe bounce off each other later on if we still have time. So Rich, you know, as the name suggests, Reviews.io, you probably have a lot of tips up your sleeves that you can share with us today regarding some approaches. So please share some practical tips, as well as, you know, how do we best capture UGC from a post-purchase strategy?
Yeah, I can answer that.
What content should we share socially? And, you know, as Marcel just mentioned,
Yeah.
Are influencers still key to successful social media strategies? Is there a danger of sending too many post-transactional emails? A little bit too much maybe thrown in right there, but if you can touch on those points.
Yeah, on your first question, I mean, reviews are at a unique part of the user journey. You know, mostly we're at their happiest time where they're receiving the goods. You know, so as a post-purchase strategy, firstly, you have to have one that could be as simple as sending out a review invite, you know, 7 days later. The worst thing you can do is send a review invite before they receive the goods. So a lot of the process, you know, isn't just set up with a click of a button. You have to think about your audience, think about your fulfillment, and, you know, think when it's the right time to reach out and actually ask for that feedback. You know, it gets a little bit more complicated when you're working outside into multiple locations. So the important thing there is have a communication flow. There's a lot of tools out there that enable you to do it quite effectively, like Klaviyo or Omnisend, or even HubSpot. You know, having that integration to your shop environment is vital. It's the only way that you're going to gain an edge, the only way you're going to automate it, the only way you're really going to communicate to your audience at the right time. Most tech stacks now are all talking to each other for that exact reason. So you're gathering first-party data to have that communication and communicate at the right time. You know, with review content, it's, you know, sending the invite itself, you know, that might be another conversation about, you know, maximizing conversion, but the invitation itself is the easy part. You know, brands and merchants need to start thinking about that additional information. You've engaged with your customer and they're willing to leave you a review. I'm pretty sure they're more than happy to leave you additional content. So that's things called attributes, and building a better picture about a product is only going to aid potential buyers later on. You know, this works really well with brands that aren't rotating products a lot of the time. So you can build a much bigger picture or insight into those products, whether it be how it fits, whether, you know, it runs too small or too large. People can still leave a good review, but they can give a deeper insight into those products. You know, and to a good example, you know, of understanding the product a lot more was a product called Vacare. They're a CBD product in Germany based, and, you know, the bureaucracy prevents them from saying a lot of things that the product does. They can't say it, but the customers' reviews can. They can tell other customers how well they're sleeping. You know, so it's a great opportunity to, you know, tell people a deeper insight into the product and align them to other customers' attributes. You know, you could share conditions that people may have that they're looking to resolve. You know, so people can then start aligning themselves with review content. So review content is now way more than just feedback. You know, it's insights into the product and how it aligns with different people. You know, and, you know, what sort of content can you capture in reviews? Like, you know, anything. So from the feedback to the attributes, you know, and then you can ask them to upload videos and upload images that align with the product. And, you know, like Marcel says, you can ask for permission. We give you the tools to, you know, easily send a request on whether they can use a video or not. You know, it's really important to have that at your disposal, those sort of tools where you can communicate really easily. A big part of, you know, where social media has shifted, which I think you can all agree is video. And when we first allowed, you know, greater media to be added to reviews, we thought the content would be coming back like detailed descriptions, but actually it wasn't anyone talking at all. It was just product insights into how that fits into their lives. They've just brought a new hot tub and the client was able to see where that was fitted. People have built, you know, gazebos around these things, and the brand was able to learn a lot more from the customer, from the content that they uploaded. We've taken that a step further with video because we believe video is only moving forward. You only have to look at TikTok, and everyone, the way they communicate to people, have stopped talking. They send video messages, or they send voice memos. So the way the communication is changing is shifting to how consumers want to, I guess, deliver the content. So we've developed a review solution that allows you to send a video to them to say, hey, thanks for your purchase, you know, and it builds a relationship between the buyer and, you know, the people that are running the business. And that encourages, you know, for them to leave video content, because you want to amplify your user generated content through video, you know, and you've got to a point where, you know, you've got so many reviews. So now it's about enriching that content that you collect. One of your points, I think, was your post transactional emails, was it? That, you know, are we at a stage where we're requesting too much? Again, it goes back to my first point about making sure you've got a flow, communication flow. You know, I never send marketing campaigns to anyone that's just signed on in the last week, because I already know that my communication flow there is a week long. So they'll be inundated with emails. So again, understand your customer, understand your processes from fulfillment to transactional emails, like what are you sending, and make sure, stick it on a wall or something and have it all laid out, because that is the journey they're going to take. They're not walking through the stores anymore. They're having this experience with you, largely over emails and other forms of communication. So, you know, have things in place. The easiest, or one of the nicest things to do is, you know, set up a condition to say if there was a negative review. The worst thing is to never respond to negative reviews. So have triggers that automatically create tickets to say you need to respond to this customer. It's vital, you know, so it moves up the chain. So having a good flow is the biggest tip I can say, you know, and reviews plays a small part in that. You know, the flow should be huge. It should be from the start right to the end, and repeat purchases. How do we communicate to them? You can set up conditions for, you know, requesting video content from just your happy customers, you know, and this should be all available just through the clicks and integrations of other tools. And, you know, if something isn't working with another tool, then ask questions why. Reach out to merchants. People reach out to us all the time and say, can you integrate and achieve this? Sure, we've had a few requests. So it's about communication, about building a strong, powerful flow that's, you know, not going to frustrate a user, and it's going to maximize content at the end of the day, and, you know, enrich the user's experience.
Both of you, I think, mentioned a lot of interesting things. The flow that you mentioned just now is super interesting, but both, I think the common thread is authenticity. How can you engage with your sellers with authenticity is one point, I guess. Would you say that, Marcel?
Yeah, definitely. We value authenticity, and I think that's a very valid point, because whenever, myself, I'm a customer also. So whenever I go and purchase something, I look to see, I look at the photos, I look at whatever the other people are saying, like the reviews. That's very important. So you can see up to a certain point, you can see through those, let's say, orchestrated reviews and stuff. But yeah, the whole idea is to be authentic, to get as much information out there about whatever you're putting on the market, and your product to be put in the right environment, because that's what it's about. Yeah.
And you're exactly right with authenticity in terms of, you know, we've transitioned from just text-based, we've transitioned just from text-based reviews to video content because it's more authentic. You know,
Rich, sorry to go for a hard stop, but we only got 1 minute left. But thanks all for your inputs. Really appreciate. We're gonna have the next presenter with my Amazon guy speaking. So for the listeners right now, don't forget to tune in for that. Today, thank you very much, guys. I really enjoyed today's discussion, and it was very educational. Thank you so much.
Thank you.